I have always believed that a mother can sense when her child is in pain. Some invisible thread pulls at the heart, a faint tug, a sudden heaviness, a breath that refuses to leave the lungs. But nothing could have prepared me for the moment that thread snapped. It was a quiet Thursday morning when the world shifted. I had just finished washing my hands after breakfast when my phone buzzed, its vibration skittering across the counter like a frightened insect. I glanced at the screen expecting a notification, a reminder, anything ordinary, and froze. Asterisk asterisk, Cedars Sinai Medical Center. Asterisk asterisk, hospitals don't call without reason. Not unless something is very, very wrong. I answered with a shaking hand. Hello. A soft, controlled voice responded. Is this asterisk asterisk Elena Dawson asterisk asterisk? Mother of asterisk asterisk Marissa Dawson Ray's asterisk asterisk? The formality alone stole the breath from my throat. Yes, yes, this is her mother. What's going on? Is my daughter all right? There was a pause, one that felt like the floor opening beneath me. I'm a nurse in the intensive care unit. Your daughter was admitted 3 days ago. Her condition, she's very ill. We've tried contacting her husband, but, I'm sorry, 3 days. My voice cracked. Why wasn't I called? She only regained partial consciousness last night, and she asked for you directly. The nurse said, regret heavy in every word. We weren't able to reach you sooner. My stomach dropped, my knees nearly gave. Is she going to be okay? Her tone softened in that way medical professionals do when the truth is too sharp to give plainly. You should come as soon as you can. The phone slipped from my hand and clattered onto the counter. I stared at it for a long time, hearing the nurse's words echo in the hollow space behind my ribs. Asterisk asterisk, as soon as you can. Asterisk asterisk, not asterisk, when you can. Asterisk asterisk, as soon as you can. Asterisk, urgency, desperation, fear. I grabbed the phone again with trembling fingers. I'm coming right now. I didn't pack. I didn't think. I just moved, slipping on shoes, grabbing my wallet, sprinting out the door. My heart hammered so violently I could feel it pulsing in my ears, in my throat, in my fingertips. The drive to the airport was a blur of red lights and whispered prayers. At the ticket counter, I must have looked deranged while, died disheveled, hands shaking, because the attendant didn't argue when I begged for the next flight to Los Angeles. I don't care about the price, I said, just get me there. Boarding in 18 minutes, she replied, sliding the ticket toward me. I ran on the plane. I sat rigid and numb, every breath thin and tight. I replayed the last conversation I'd had with Marissa. It was 10 days ago, a simple call. She had sounded tired, maybe stressed, but she brushed it off. I'm fine, Mom, just overwhelmed. Damon's busy with his projects, and I'm handling everything at home. I had asked if she needed help. She said she was okay. Asterisk asterisk, I should have known. Asterisk asterisk, I should have heard the tremor underneath her words. The guilt gnawed at me the entire flight, growing sharper with every minute, and something else, something darker. Asterisk asterisk, where was her husband? Asterisk asterisk, why wasn't asterisk, he asterisk, the one at the hospital calling me? Why wasn't asterisk, he asterisk, by her side? Anger simmered beneath the fear, an ember waiting for air. When the plane landed, I raced through the airport, barely aware of the bodies I dodged or the tears streaking my face. I hailed the first taxi I saw and gave the driver the hospital's address with a voice so raw it didn't sound like mine. The city blurred past the window's sunlight bouncing off glass towers, the distant haze of the ocean, crowds moving with purpose, while my world stood on the edge of collapse. When the hospital finally came into view, my stomach twisted violently. I shoved bills into the driver's hand and bolted inside. Aiku, I gasped to the woman at the reception desk, Marissa Dawson Ray's. She pointed to the elevators. 6th floor, room 614. I don't remember waiting for the elevator. I barely remember stepping out. All I recall is the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears as I rushed down the corridor. Room 614. My hand hovered over the doorknob, trembling uncontrollably. I pushed the door open. And there she was, my beautiful daughter, pale as moonlight, her chest rising and falling with the help of machines. Tubes threaded into her arms, monitors beeped rhythmically, each sound a cruel reminder that life can be reduced to numbers on a screen. Her lips were cracked, her hair was matted to her forehead. She looked impossibly small under the white sheets. I staggered to her side. "Oh, baby," my voice broke. "Mom's here. I'm here now." A nurse appeared quietly behind me, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. "She's been asking for you in her sleep." "Where's her husband?" I asked, my throat tightening with dread. The nurse hesitated. "He hasn't visited." I stared at her, unblinking. Not once. Her silence was answer enough. I felt something inside me snap cleanly, like a bone breaking. My daughter lay dying, and her husband, her partner, her supposed protector, was nowhere. Not even trying to be here. As I held Marissa's cold hand between mine, I whispered to her, "I've got you, sweetheart. I won't leave you." But beneath my grief, something else bloomed. Cold, sharp, relentless, a mother's rage. I didn't know what Damon was doing or where he was, but I would soon. And whatever he was doing while my daughter was fighting for her life, he would pay. Hospitals have a strange way of swallowing time. Hours dissolve into a haze of fluorescent lights, antiseptic scents, and the steady beeping of machines that monitor the thin thread between life and death. I sat beside Marissa's bed, holding her limp hand, brushing strands of hair off her damp forehead, whispering words I hoped she could hear. Every so often a nurse checked her vitals. Every so often I asked the same questions. Is she improving? Is she in pain? Is she aware I'm here? And every time, the nurse answered with the same careful softness, reserved for situations that could go either way. Outside the ICU window, Los Angeles glowed sunlight glittering across the skyline like nothing tragic could ever touch this city. Inside this room, I fought to breathe, but there was someone who didn't seem to care about the battle happening in room 614. Damon. Her husband, the man I trusted with my daughter's happiness. At first, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't know, maybe he hadn't seen the hospital's calls, maybe he was traveling for work, but doubt turned to fury each time I looked at Marissa's frail body. 3 days. 3 days in critical care, and not a single visit from the man who vowed to love her in sickness and in health. It didn't make sense. The nurse from earlier, Nurse Clara, returned to check the Roman 4. She hesitated like she wanted to say something, but wasn't sure she should. "Just tell me," I said. My voice was low, brittle. "Please." Clara glanced at the door and then back at me, lowering her voice. "I don't want to upset you, Mrs. Dawson, but her husband said he was traveling. We tried contacting him several times, but what?" I pushed. Clara bit her lip. "His social media is public. Some of the staff saw him posting earlier today." My stomach turned cold. "Posting what?" She lifted her phone, hesitated again, then showed me the screen. There he was. Damon. Grinning on a sun-drenched yacht, drink in hand. A champagne bottle spraying behind him like the world was one big celebration just for him. Music blared in the background. The caption read, **A new beginnings, life is good. **, new. Beginnings. I zoomed in on the photo with shaking fingers. A woman, young, tanned, heavily May. Dup was draped over his shoulder, her hand on his chest, laughing into his ear. He looked ecstatic, liberated. My breath caught in my throat. He posted this today. I managed. Clara nodded. About 15 minutes ago. 15 minutes ago, I was in the hospital praying my daughter wouldn't die. 15 minutes ago, he was on a yacht in the Pacific Ocean, celebrating something. celebrating while my daughter clung to life. A heat spread through me, not confusion anymore, not disbelief, asterisk asterisk rage, a mother's rage sharp enough to cut. Asterisk asterisk, I swallowed it down, focusing on my daughter. Her chest rose and fell with the help of machines. Her eyelashes trembled slightly, and I leaned closer. "Marissa," I whispered, "sweetheart, I'm here." Her eyelids fluttered, just barely. I straightened, holding her hand gently, willing my warmth into her. "Mom," she breathed, voice weak and cracked, like her throat had been scraped raw. "Yes, baby. Yes, I'm here. I'm right here." She blinked slowly, painfully. "Hurts? I know, darling. I know. Don't try to talk." But she forced out a few more words, each one a tremor. "Don't trust him." My blood ran cold. Her eyes closed again, her strength gone. Machines beeped steadily, indifferent to the devastation she'd just unleashed. Don't trust him? The words circled in my mind like vultures. What did she know? What had he done? What had he let happen? A doctor stepped in quietly to adjust something on the monitor. "She's stable for now," he said. "Let her rest. It's good she woke up briefly. It means she's fighting." I nodded mechanically, but my thoughts were elsewhere. Damon wasn't traveling for work. He wasn't taking time to recover from stress. He wasn't grieving or terrified. He was partying, celebrating, laughing with another woman while my daughter lay on a hospital bed in a battle for her life. Something inside me hardened into resolve, not just anger, not just heartbreak, but a cold, deliberate understanding. If Marissa was right, and deep down, I knew she was, then Damon wasn't just negligent. He was guilty. Of something big enough for him to hide on a yacht while she suffered. I stood from the chair and kissed my daughter's forehead. "I'll be right back, sweetheart," I whispered. "Mom needs to take care of something." I stepped into the hallway, pulled out my phone, and searched for the yacht's name visible in the background of the photo Damon posted. It wasn't hard to find. The rental company had a website, complete with details about the boat, its rates, and most importantly, its contact information. I memorized it, then I saved the photo of Damon and zoomed into every detail, the timestamps, the faces of the people around him. The credit card company logo on the table, the signature teal bracelet worn only by guests who paid for *** full service onboard packages ** packages that cost more than my monthly mortgage. He wasn't just partying. He was spending recklessly, lavishly, as if he had access to money he shouldn't have. A chill crept up my spine as puzzle pieces clicked into place. Something was incredibly wrong, and I would find out exactly what it was. I returned to my daughter's bedside, my resolve solidifying with every step. Damon may have thought he was safe floating on the ocean, drunk on luxury, far from consequence. But he didn't know I was here. He didn't know what Marissa had whispered. He didn't know that a mother's fury burns hotter than anything he could ever imagine. I looked down at my daughter, brushed her cheek gently, and made her a promise in a voice only she could hear. ***, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to find out what he did. And when I'm done, he'll never hurt you again. ***, the human heart can only take so much grief before it turns into something sharper. Something that refuses to break anymore. By the time dawn rolled over Los Angeles and the pale light seeped into Marissa's hospital room, I was no longer the same woman who had boarded a plane in panic just one day earlier. I was a mother with a mission, and I was going to destroy Damon Reyes, not with violence, not with screaming, not even with confrontation. No, I would destroy him with *** truth, ***. By morning, my daughter was sleeping peacefully again. Her breathing was steadier, though still labored. The doctors said she was stable, but that her recovery would be long and uncertain. As I watched her, I made a silent vow. If she survived, she would never return to the life that almost killed her. But first, I needed answers. I stepped into the hallway and pulled out the blurry photo of Damon on the yacht, zooming in once more. His wrist gleamed under the sun, a silver watch I knew well. I had bought it for him and Marissa as a wedding gift. A foolish investment, considering what he had become. But what caught my eye wasn't the watch. It was the *** black metal card ** on the table in front of him. A luxury card, one only issued to those with high spending habits. Yet I knew Damon's income. He had a job, but certainly not one that afforded yachts, champagne towers, and weekend escapes with new beginnings. So where was the money coming from? That question sat in the pit of my stomach like a stone. I needed proof. I stepped into the small waiting room alcove and called an old friend. Someone I hadn't needed in years, but someone who owed me a favor. "Rick Donovan," a groggy voice answered. "You do realize it's 6 in the morning. Rick, it's Elena," I said. He woke up instantly. "Elena." "God, it's been a while. What's wrong?" I swallowed hard. "My daughter is in the ICU in Los Angeles." A pause, a long inhale. "Tell me what you need." Rick was a lawyer. One with connections, skills, and most importantly, the ability to dig up anything hidden beneath paperwork, signatures, and expensive lies. I sent him screenshots of Damon's yacht posts. "Find out whose card he's using," I said. "Find out where the money came from." "Anything you can get me, you'll have it," he replied. "Give me a few hours." I ended the call, returned to Marissa's side, and waited. The hours dragged. Machines beeped. Nurses padded in and out. Sunlight glowed, then faded as the day moved on. The smell of disinfectant invaded my senses until I felt sick with it. Every few minutes, I squeezed my daughter's hand. "I'm here." But beneath that gentle comfort, my mind was sharp, calculating, waiting for the moment to strike. Just after noon, my phone buzzed. "Rick, ***, you're not going to like this. Call me." ***, my pulse quickened. I stepped into the hallway and dialed immediately. "Tell me," I demanded. Rick sighed. "The card he used on the yacht?" "It's not his." "What?" My voice turned cold. "It's your daughter's," he said. "Everything he's paying for everything he's done the last 3 weeks has been through her account." My knees weakened, but I caught myself on the wall. "He drained her. Not all the way, but close. There were large withdrawals, transfers, and Elena, it gets worse. Just tell me. He forged her signature on an online authorization form for joint access. Synthetic signature, sloppy, but enough to slip through. My stomach twisted. He stole from her while she was sick. And," Rick continued grimly, "he booked the yacht in her name. She's the one legally responsible for any damages or unpaid balances." A hollow disgust washed over me. So that's what those new beginnings were about. I whispered, "Freedom." Money, a new woman, a new life, and he was leaving her behind like trash. "Elena," Rick said gently, "I can file the fraud report immediately. Banks freeze accounts for that sort of thing. I can also contact the yacht rental company. If they realize the charges came from a stolen identity, they'll act fast. Do it," I said through clenched teeth. "Do everything, and God bless him." Rick didn't hesitate. 2 hours later, the sweetest music reached my ears. A notification. A simple, beautiful message from Rick. ***, done. His access is frozen. The yacht company has been alerted. ***, my heart thudded. He was on that yacht right now, partying, laughing, spending money that wasn't his. And somewhere in the middle of the ocean, his perfect little world was about to crack apart like thin glass. I imagined it vividly. Damon swaggering across the deck, drink in hand, flirting, bragging, music pounding, laughter bubbling. Then the first declined transaction, a bartender frowning, a second declined, a third, security noticing, management approaching, the yacht company receiving Rick's digital freeze notice stamped with fraud, misuse, and legal violation, the humiliation, the confusion, the panic, his friends drifting away like rats fleeing a sinking ship, his new girlfriend realizing he wasn't rich, just a leech, his name blacklisted, his access denied, his wallet useless, his reputation crumbling as security escorted him off the boat, with cameras and phones recording every pathetic second, and my daughter, my brave, broken daughter, would never lose another dime to him. At sunset, my phone rang again. Rick, he's been removed from the yacht. They took everything. He only had the clothes he was wearing. I exhaled slowly, the tension in my chest easing for the first time since the hospital called. Good. I whispered, that's exactly what he deserves. But Rick wasn't finished. And Elena, he's trying to call your daughter. The moment the account froze, he started blowing up her phone. I looked at Marissa's pale face sleeping, recovering, still fragile. He won't reach her, I said, not through the hospital. And not through me, Rick paused. You know he'll come to the hospital next. I smiled coldly, let him. I returned to my daughter and sat beside her. Her breathing was soft now, gentle, peaceful. For the first time, her color had improved slightly, just a shade richer than morning. I brushed my palm against her cheek. It's done, sweetheart. I whispered, he can't hurt you anymore. But little did I know in less than an hour, Damon Reyes would storm into this hospital like a man possessed. Not because his wife was dying, not because guilt consumed him, but because he had lost everything, and what was left of his mind was unraveling piece by piece. The sweetest revenge was already done, but the darkest part, asterisk asterisk, was still coming. Asterisk asterisk, the hospital was quiet now, the afternoon sun slanting through the tall windows and casting long shadows across the pale floors. Machines hummed gently in rhythm with Marissa's steady breathing. For the first time since I had flown in, I allowed myself a small exhale. The sweetest revenge, the freezing of his access, the exposure of his theft, the collapse of his carefully curated world, had already begun. Damon didn't know yet how completely he had been stripped bare, but soon, oh, soon he would learn. I had returned to my vigil, sitting by Marissa's bedside, brushing the damp hair from her forehead. She was sleeping now. Exhausted, fragile, but alive, alive. The word alone was a quiet, burning triumph. And then the phone rang. At first, I ignored it, letting it sit against the counter. My gut tightened, though, and finally I picked it up. Mrs. Dawson. A shaky voice on the line. Who is this? I asked. Security at Cedars Sinai. There's a man here. He says he's her husband. I didn't flinch. I only smiled, a sharp, thin line that carried all the fury, pain, and justice I'd been carrying since the moment I saw him on that yacht. Send him to the lobby, I said softly. I'll meet him there. An hour later, I heard the hurried footsteps down the hall, the hurried shuffling of papers and IDs, the tense whispers of hospital staff. Damon had arrived. I walked calmly into the lobby, my eyes fixed on him the moment I saw him. His tailored suit was wrinkled from stress, his carefully styled hair tousled, his confident swagger. The same swagger that had infuriated me in the photos, celebrating while my daughter was dying, was gone, replaced by raw panic. He saw me and froze. Mom, he started, his voice faltering, eyes darting around. For witnesses, for support, for a lifeline. I didn't answer. I only tilted my head, letting my gaze pierce him like a blade. I could see the first flickers of realization, the flickers of knowledge, that the man who thought he was untouchable was now completely exposed. I don't understand, he stammered. Oh, you will, I said. My voice was low, steady, dripping with icy calm. Everything. Every cent you spent, every reckless dollar, every lie you told, everything is gone. Your accounts are frozen. The yacht taken from under you. The world knows what you did. And I promise you this, Damon, he blinked rapidly. Panic was rising like smoke from a fire, spreading through his entire being. His carefully maintained composure, his arrogance, his delusions of power, it all crumbled in an instant. This can't be happening, he shouted, his voice cracked. He turned to the security officers, pleading, gesturing wildly. You don't understand. You stole from her while she was fighting for her life. I interrupted, my voice slicing through the chaos. You abandoned her. You celebrated while she nearly died. And now you have nothing. Damon's hands trembled, and he ran them through his hair as though trying to physically extract the reality from his mind. He swayed on his feet, muttering to himself, looking around for anyone to save him. The security officers held him at bay, but even they were died, unsure how to contain the storm of breakdown that was unfolding before them. And then it happened. the moment that made all my anger and grief transform into a grim satisfaction. He screamed, a raw, guttural scream, the kind that comes from someone who has realized everything they valued is gone, no money, no control, no wife, no dignity. Only his shame, naked and bright, exposed in front of strangers and witnesses alike. He clawed at the security officers, trying to break free, shouting incomprehensible threats, begging, pleading, and cursing all at once. His mind, stripped of its safety nets, unraveled spectacularly. The carefully constructed man, the man who had hurt. My daughter was gone. In his place was a panicked, broken shell of a human. I watched from a distance, standing tall, unshaken. Every ounce of fear, every moment of heartbreak, every tear shed for my daughter had led to this. Justice sweet, precise, and utterly personal had been delivered. Security finally led him away, his shrieks echoing down the hallway. People whispered. Some stared, others avoided his gaze, but I didn't move. I only exhaled slowly, feeling a weight lift from my chest. I returned to Marissa's side. She stirred slightly, eyes fluttering open. I brushed her hair from her face. "Mom," she whispered weakly. "I'm here, baby," I said softly. "He can't hurt you any more." Not ever. A tear slid down her cheek, and I kissed her forehead. In that moment, the hospital, the city, the world felt right again. My daughter was safe, and the man who had tried to destroy her life was left with nothing but his own shame. And as I held her hand, watching her sleep peacefully for the first time in days, I allowed myself to feel it fully. Asterisk asterisk, the pain of nearly losing her. Rage at his betrayal, the sweet, undeniable triumph of justice. Asterisk asterisk, an hour later, Damon Reyes had lost his mind, and my daughter had her life back. And that, in its own bitter, beautiful way, was perfect.